In a small town in Ohio, there lived a boy named Ethan Carter. Most people never noticed him, not because he was invisible, but because he was poor. His house was not really a house. It was a trailer with a broken roof, patched with plastic sheets, and held together with duct tape. When it rained, water dripped onto his bed. When it snowed, cold air slipped through the cracks like a thief in the night. Ethan was 14 years old, and every morning he woke up before the sun. Not for school, for work. He worked at a gas station, cleaning bathrooms and picking up trash. The smell of fuel stuck to his clothes. The smell of poverty stuck to his life. At school, his shoes had holes. His lunch was dry bread. His backpack was a donation from someone else. Church. And his classmates, they laughed. "Hey, trash boy," they called him. "Did you sleep in a dumpster today?" Ethan never answered, not because he was weak, but because he was tired. Tired of explaining. Tired of defending. Tired of hoping. His father had died in a factory accident. His mother worked 2 jobs and still couldn't pay rent. Every night she cried quietly, so Ethan wouldn't hear. But Ethan always heard. One night, rain started leaking onto his pillow again. Ethan sat up and whispered to himself, "Is this all life is?" Then something strange happened. Under his broken bed, he found a small metal box. Rusty, heavy, locked. He had never seen it before. Thing. A book. Not a school book, not a comic. A black notebook with faded gold letters. That was his last name, Carter. His heart started beating faster. He opened the notebook. Inside were handwritten pages, diagrams, ideas, plans. And on the first page, a sentence. "If you are reading this, it means I failed, but you don't have to." Ethan swallowed hard. He recognized the handwriting. It was his father's. His father had been an engineer before the factory swallowed him alive. And this notebook, it was not dreams. It was inventions. Machines that could save electricity, devices that could clean water. One design caught Ethan's eye. A portable solar generator made from scrap parts. Something cheap, something simple, something powerful. Ethan stared at it all night. For the first time in years, he didn't feel poor. He felt curious. The next day, after school, instead of going home, he went to the junkyard. The man there laughed. "What you building, kid? A spaceship?" Ethan said nothing. He just picked up wires, old fans, broken panels. For weeks, he worked after school, hands bleeding, eyes burning. At night, his mother asked, "Why are you always dirty now?" Ethan replied, "I'm fixing our future." She smiled sadly, not knowing what he meant. 1 month later, he plugged in his machine. Nothing happened. He tried again, his fist on the floor. "I'm just stupid, just like they say." Then he noticed a loose wire. He fixed it. The light turned on. A small bulb glowed inside the dark trailer. His mother gasped. "You made electricity?" Ethan whispered. "No, Dad did. I just listened." That night, the rain fell again, but the light stayed on. And for the first time, their home looked warm. But something else was coming. Something bigger. Something dangerous. Because success always attracts attention. And someone had been watching Ethan at the junkyard. A man in a black coat, with a silver watch and greedy eyes. He whispered to himself, That boy doesn't know what he's holding. And tomorrow, everything would change. The next morning, Ethan walked to school with something new inside him. Not money, not fame, hope. But hope is loud, and people notice loud things. At lunch, he sat alone, holding his dry sandwich. A boy named Tyler walked past and sneered. "You running power to your cardboard palace now?" The table laughed. Ethan stood up. For the first time, he didn't walk away. "I made something," he said quietly. "Something that works." The laughter stopped. Tyler squinted. "Yeah? Then bring it tomorrow. Let's see if your junk science can beat real money." That night, Ethan carried his generator to school. Teachers stared. Students whispered. In science class, the teacher said, "What is this, Ethan?" He replied, "It's a solar generator made from scrap." The teacher raised an eyebrow. "Turn it on." Ethan plugged in the lamp. The bulb glowed. The room went silent. Someone whispered, "He built that?" Tyler's smile disappeared. The teacher said slowly, "You didn't copy this?" Ethan shook his head. "I finished it." That afternoon, the principal called him in. A man was sitting there. Black coat, silver watch. The same man from the junkyard. He smiled. "My name is Mr. Hawthorne. I work with technology investors." Ethan's stomach tightened. Hawthorne leaned forward. "That little machine of yours, it could be worth millions." Ethan blinked. "Millions?" Hawthorne slid a paper across the desk. "Sign this, and I'll give you $10,000 today." $10,000. That was rent, food, medicine, warmth. Ethan thought of his mother's tired eyes. Hawthorne added, "You keep nothing. I take the design." The room felt heavy. Ethan whispered, "I need to think." That night, his mother counted coins on the table. "I don't know how we'll pay the heater bill," she said. Ethan held the contract in his pocket. $10,000, or his father's dream. He opened the notebook again. On the last page, his father had written, "Never sell your mind to buy comfort. Build something that frees others." Ethan closed the book. The next day, he said, "No." Hawthorne's smile froze. "You'll regret that." That night, Ethan came home. The trailer door was open. The generator was gone. His mother cried. "They broke in," she whispered. The notebook was still there, but the machine was stolen. Ethan felt empty. At school, Tyler laughed. "Guess your junk got trashed." Ethan didn't answer. He went to the junkyard, worked again, built again. 2 weeks later, a TV truck came to town. On the news, a man in a black coat stood beside a generator. "Hawthorne," he said, "this invention will change America." Ethan dropped the remote. "They stole it," he whispered. But then something unexpected happened. The reporter asked, "Who created this?" Hawthorne hesitated. A voice from the crowd said, "A kid did." The camera turned. It was Ethan's teacher. "He built it from junk," she said. "He refused to sell it." The crowd murmured. The reporter said, "Where is this boy?" That night, a knock came at the door. Police, reporters, lawyers. Hawthorne was arrested for theft and fraud. Ethan's design was returned. But now, the world was watching. A boy with no shoes had just challenged money, and won. But the hardest test was still coming, because fame doesn't just bring help, it brings pressure. And Ethan was about to face the biggest decision of his life. News spread fast, too fast. Within days, people came from other towns just to see the boy who built electricity from trash. Some brought gifts, some brought cameras. Others brought offers. A man in a blue suit said, "We'll give you a scholarship to a private academy." A woman with glasses said, "My company wants your design. We'll pay well." Ethan felt dizzy. He still slept under a leaking roof. But the world now treated him like he was already rich. One evening, a white envelope arrived. It said, "Massachusetts Institute of Technology." Ethan's hands shook. It was an early admission letter. Full scholarship, room, food, books. His mother covered her mouth. "You're going to be someone," she whispered. Ethan smiled, but his chest hurt, because the letter said, "Orientation begins in 2 weeks." 2 weeks. That meant leaving his mother alone. That meant leaving the trailer. That meant choosing himself. That night, his mother cooked soup with the last of the vegetables. She said, "You should go." He replied, "I can't leave you." She looked at him. "When your father died, I lost my partner. But if you stay, you'll lose your future." Ethan looked down. "What if I become rich and forget this place?" She touched his face. "You'll just be expensive." 2 days before departure, the heater broke. The trailer turned cold. Ethan took his generator, not to plug it in, but to take it outside. People watched. "What are you doing?" someone asked. Ethan said, "This machine was made to help people like us." He placed it in the center of the trailer park. Lights turned on. Heaters turned on. Phones charged. Old men cried. Mothers hugged their kids. Ethan said, "My dad wanted freedom, not fame." The next morning, he left. At MIT, his clothes didn't match the others. His accent sounded rough. His past felt heavy. In his first class, a student whispered, "That's the junkyard kid." Ethan remembered Tyler. He stayed quiet. Weeks passed. One night, he sat in the lab, alone, notebook, and wrote on a new page, "I didn't fail." He improved the design. Smaller, cheaper, stronger. A professor found him sleeping on the desk. "What is this?" she asked. Ethan said, "A light for people who can't afford one." 3 years later, a factory opened in Ohio. Not a rich factory, a fair one. It hired people from trailer parks, from shelters, from junkyards, and on the wall, a sign, "Built by those who were once forgotten." Reporters asked him, "Why didn't you sell your invention for millions?" Ethan replied, "Because I was poor, and I know what poor needs." One rainy evening, he returned to the trailer park. The roof was fixed. Lights glowed. Children studied at night. His mother waited at the door. She said, "You fixed more than electricity." Ethan looked up at the sky and whispered, "Dad, we didn't sell the dream." And maybe that is the real power. Money, not fame, but the courage to rise without stepping on others. Final lessons from Ethan's story are: if you are poor, you are not broken. If people laugh at you, they are afraid of what you might become. And if life gives you trash, build light from it. Because the strongest success is not the one that makes you rich, it is the one that makes you useful. True strength is forged in struggle, not comfort. The challenges that break most people are the same challenges that can make you unstoppable if you face them with courage and persistence. Integrity and vision outweigh instant rewards. Choosing what is right over what is easy or profitable builds a foundation that lasts far longer than money or fame ever could. Freedom to create and help is the greatest wealth. Real success isn't measured by what you own, but by the lives you touch and the legacy of hope you leave behind. Poverty can sharpen your vision. Sometimes what feels like a limitation is actually a gateway to growth. Lens, helping you see solutions no one else notices. Recognition comes to those who persist, not those who seek applause. Silent effort and patient persistence always outshine temporary fame. Quiet courage is stronger than flashy bravado. True heroes act without attention, letting their actions speak louder than words. Struggle shapes your moral compass. Hardship teaches the values and clarity that wealth or comfort never can. He turned poverty into power, doubt into courage, and darkness into light. What story will you write with your life?